They thought they had won the dream. One ticket, one lucky number, and suddenly, overnight, they were millionaires. From small apartments to mansions, from old cars to luxury fleets, from scraping by to swimming in cash, lottery winners are supposed to be the people who made it. But here's the shocking truth. 8 out of 10 lottery winners lose it all. Yes, 80%. Within just a few years, the millions are gone. The mansions foreclosed. The cars repossessed. And the winners? Many end up worse off than before they ever played. Why does this happen? How can someone go from nothing to everything and back to nothing again? The answer isn't luck. It's something far darker and far more common than you think. Winning the lottery is sold as the ultimate dream. Commercials show smiling faces holding giant checks. Reporters rush to interview winners about how they'll spend their new fortune. Families cry tears of joy, believing their struggles are finally over. But behind those headlines, there's another story, a darker one, because study after study has revealed something chilling. Within just 3 to 5 years, nearly 80% of lottery winners are broke. Not just less rich, broke, bankrupt, sometimes even in debt deeper than before they ever played. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Millions of dollars vanishing like smoke. But the truth is, sudden wealth is a double-edged sword. It promises freedom, but for most people, it becomes a trap. Think about it. If you struggle to manage a paycheck of $2,000 a month, how do you suddenly manage 10 million? The same habits that kept people broke before don't magically disappear with more zeros in the bank account. In fact, those bad habits get magnified. The money doesn't change who you are. It simply exposes you. And the consequences are brutal. Families torn apart, friends turning into enemies, fortunes wasted on cars, mansions, and addictions. By the time the cameras are gone and the confetti is settled, most winners discover the same painful truth. Winning the lottery didn't save them. It destroyed them. But why? What exactly pulls these people from riches to ruin? And more importantly, how can you avoid the same traps if sudden money ever comes your way? Meet Carla. She was a single mother working at a grocery store when her life changed overnight. One ticket, $30 million. At first, it was pure joy. She quit her job, bought a mansion in cash, and filled the driveway with luxury cars. Friends she hadn't spoken to in years suddenly showed up at her door. Family members demanded handouts. Carla wanted to help everyone, and she did, until she realized there was no end to the asking. Within 5 years, Carla's fortune was gone. The cars were repossessed. The mansion sat empty. And Carla, who thought she had escaped the struggle forever, was back working in retail. But this time, with millions of dollars in debt and a broken family. But Carla's story isn't rare. Take Michael, a factory worker who won $15 million. He thought money would heal everything. Instead, it exposed cracks he didn't even know existed. He and his wife fought over every purchase. His brothers accused him of being selfish. He tried to buy peace by giving everyone something, a car here, a house there, but it only created resentment. Soon, Michael turned to drinking, trying to drown out the stress of being the rich one. Within 7 years, the fortune that was supposed to last for generations was gone. Michael filed for bankruptcy. His marriage collapsed, and his family was left in pieces. And then there was Jennifer. At just 21 years old, she became one of the youngest lottery winners in the country. Her first purchase? A sports car that cost more than her parents' house. Nights out turned into weeks-long parties. Partying turned into addictions. And addiction turned into ruin. By the time she turned 28, the money was gone. The friends had disappeared, and she was left alone, wishing she had never bought that ticket. And yet, as tragic as these stories sound, they're only scratching the surface. Because the real danger isn't just overspending or fake friends. It's something far deeper, something hidden, the psychological trap that most winners never see coming. The money itself isn't the curse. The curse is what the money reveals. Psychologists have a name for it. They call it sudden wealth syndrome. It's the shock, the anxiety, the identity crisis that happens when someone's life changes overnight. And lottery winners? They're the perfect victims. Think about it. Yesterday, you were worrying about rent. Today you have millions. Your brain can't process the jump. It's like being dropped into the deep end of a pool without ever learning how to swim. At first, it feels like freedom, but very quickly it becomes chaos. The first trap is no boundaries. Money doesn't just change your life, it changes how everyone around you treats you. Friends, cousins, neighbors, even strangers. They all want a piece. Unless you know how to say no, your money disappears faster than you can count it. Carla, the single mom, thought generosity would buy her loyalty. Instead, it turned her into a target. The second trap is lifestyle inflation. The mansion, the luxury car, the private trips, each one feels like a reward. But once you taste luxury, it's hard to go back. That one sports car becomes 3. That mansion becomes 2 more homes. And suddenly, your monthly expenses burn through your millions like fire through paper. Michael, the factory worker, didn't just buy one house, he bought 3. And with every purchase, his fortune drained faster. The third trap is the loss of identity. When you win the lottery, you don't just gain money, you lose the version of yourself you once knew. People who work hard for years know who they are, but sudden winners lose their anchor. Jennifer, the 21-year-old, went from college kid to millionaire overnight. Her friends changed. Her habits changed. She changed. But when the money was gone, she had no idea who she really was anymore. That loss of identity hurt more than the empty bank account ever could. And this is the turning point most people never see. Because once the money pulls you into its traps, there's almost no way back. Unless you know the rules of building real wealth, the kind that doesn't disappear. Not every lottery winner ends up broke. A rare few learn how to protect their fortune, and their stories reveal what really separates wealth that vanishes from wealth that grows. One of those people was Mark. When he won his jackpot, he didn't rush out to buy cars or mansions. Instead, he disappeared from the spotlight. No interviews, no flashy purchases, no sudden lifestyle changes. Mark's first move was to hire a financial advisor. He wanted to make his money last, not make headlines. While his neighbors expected a mansion, he stayed in his modest home and quietly invested. A decade later, his fortune hadn't vanished. It had doubled. The secret wasn't luck. It was restraint. Then there was Linda. She had worked as a nurse her whole life, living paycheck to paycheck. When her numbers hit, her family expected her to quit work and live like royalty. But Linda surprised them all. She went to her hospital the next week and told her boss, "I'll take a little time off, but I'm not quitting." Why? Because her work gave her purpose. She understood something most winners never learn. Money can buy comfort, but it can't buy identity. By holding onto the life she already valued, Linda kept her spending under control and her relationships intact. And then there's Alex. He won nearly $50 million. Most people would crumble under the pressure of handling that much money. But Alex treated it like a business. He created a budget, gave himself a monthly allowance, and invested the rest. He bought a home, yes, but only one. He set up trusts for his children, donated to causes he cared about, and refused to chase endless luxuries. His friends laughed at how boring he was with his fortune. But 20 years later, while others lost everything, Alex's wealth had grown so large that his children and grandchildren were set for life. These winners did something most others never even considered. They slowed down. They ignored the temptation of the spotlight. And they learned that wealth isn't about how much you can spend, but how much you can protect. And that's the climb most lottery winners never make. It's not about the winning ticket. It's about the choices you make the moment the cameras turn off. But even for the rare winners who succeed, there's still a hidden truth, a truth about money, happiness, and freedom that changes everything. And that's where our story turns next. Some lottery winners lost everything. Others managed to grow their fortune. But when you put all their stories side by side, the deeper truth becomes clear. Winning the lottery doesn't guarantee happiness. It only magnifies who you already are. For Carla, the single mom, sudden wealth became a weight she couldn't carry. Her generosity turned into a curse, her relationships into battles, and her millions into ashes. The money didn't change her life. It sped up her downfall. For Michael, the factory worker, The pressure of being the rich one tore apart his marriage and destroyed his peace. His fortune vanished, but what hurt most was losing the people he thought he was helping. And for Jennifer, the young winner, the money became an escape. An escape into luxury, into addiction, into a lifestyle that swallowed her whole. By the time it was over, she wasn't just broke, she was broken. But then we look at people like Mark, the quiet investor, or Linda, the nurse who never stopped working, or Alex, who treated his millions like a business. They didn't fall for the spotlight. They didn't chase every luxury. They built boundaries, they found purpose, and they grew their wealth instead of losing it. So what's the difference? It isn't the size of the jackpot. It isn't luck. It's discipline, identity, and purpose. Because money without discipline is gasoline on a fire. Money without identity leaves you lost. And money without purpose feels empty, no matter how many zeros sit in your account. The emotional payoff is this. Money doesn't solve your problems. It amplifies them. If you were careless before, you'll be reckless with millions. If you felt lost before, you'll feel even more lost when the spotlight blinds you. But if you already have discipline, if you already know who you are, if you already have a sense of purpose, money becomes a tool. A tool for freedom, for growth, for building a legacy. That's why some winners end up in ruins while others end up in peace. The lottery doesn't create your future. It simply reveals it. And that's the real lesson hidden in the numbers. That true wealth has less to do with winning a ticket and everything to do with how you live once the ticket is in your hand. If this story shocked you, don't stop here. Because the truth is, the lottery curse isn't the only money trap out there. Every day, ordinary people fall into hidden financial pitfalls that quietly drain their future. And if you want to protect yourself, you need to see them before they strike. So when this video ends, don't click away. Go watch my breakdown of the janitor who secretly built a $5 million fortune. It's the story of how a man with almost nothing built wealth the right way, step by step, dollar by dollar. And the lessons inside may change how you look at money forever.